Thank you guys so much for making time to attend. My name is Stanislaus Martins, as you well know, the president of ADMAP. You can see on the screen, ADMAP is the Association of Digital Marketing Professionals, of which you guys are members. This is the second training we're having in the month of June, and we're trying to ensure that this becomes like a regular occurrence, a regular theme, a way for us to add value to the community. The calendar we've shared with you is for June and July. Last week we had Nelson take us through programmatic advertising. We have quite a bit of really power-packed trainings also coming up as well. As you can see, you guys have access to this already in the community. We've tried to make these training sessions very exclusive. Even for those paying us that they want to attend, we are not accepting payments. This is exclusively for ADMAP members. And we're hoping that by the end of these sessions, you would have acquired and learned something new. As mentioned last time as well, we need your feedback. There are links in the WhatsApp group where we need you guys to contribute. Not just contribute topics, we also want you to contribute speakers. For this one, we've done it, and I feel it might be a bit limited and skewed towards one side, just to ensure that we have like a very, very strong balance. We really, really need for you guys to recommend. So if you haven't done that yet, Ebuka, I'm looking at you even on the call, and I'm thinking maybe one of the next sessions should be you taking us through something around audience measurement or audience planning for social media, because I know that's one of your strong sides. Guys, please feel free to recommend yourself. At the end of the day, we just want to give value to the community. As I said earlier on, Nelson was here last week, and he took us through the understanding the programmatic advertising. It was really, really loaded. It was an elementary session, introductory, and he has agreed to come back for a more detailed, hands-on practical session in due course, and we'll advise you when that happens in the next calendar. But today, on the call with us, is no other than Oluwatobi Adekunle. If you don't know Toby, I want you to raise up your hand if you don't know Toby, so that Toby can introduce himself. I'm looking at the call. I'm waiting for someone to raise up his hand and say they don't know Toby. Fantastic. So everybody on the call knows Toby. So we're going to get started very, very quickly. We're going to hand over to Toby. Just know that after Toby's session next week, on Friday, I think on Thursday rather, we are going to be having Eze Chukudi, who is going to be taking us to brand building in the digital world. I'm really, really excited about that. I'm really looking forward to that. Then one of my very, very good friends based in Ghana, Muyiwa Aleshinloye, is also going to be taking us through digital appreciation for chief marketing officers. I particularly love this topic for ADMAP members because this is an aspirational session. The idea is not for us as digital professionals to box ourselves into that digital umbrella. That's not the idea. The idea is we should be able to expand our horizon beyond just digital to actually start to occupy positions as chief marketing officers and marketing directors. And I'm really, really hoping that Muyiwa will do that topic justice. So without much ado, we have a couple of you on the call already. Please, if you have questions, you wait to the end. There's a Q&A tab you can use to ask questions, and I would ask Toby afterwards. But that said, I'm just going to go ahead and hand over to Toby now to take us through his session on getting started with growth marketing. Good morning or good afternoon, Toby. Over to you.
All right. Thank you, my president. It's been a roller coaster morning for me, actually, to be honest. And I think Stan has an idea of why it is a bit roller coaster morning, but you know, we just have to take this for the love of the community. I was telling Stan that I've had a busy week in the past, very busy week in the past 2 weeks, and the highlight was what happened this morning, which is still, we thank God, beautiful stuff happening. Let me just put it that way. Right, let's just get on. We are going to be talking about getting started with growth marketing. So a bit of introduction. You guys know me. For one, I'm not the one that like to read out, CVs and who am I or who I am not. But my name is Toby Adekunle Oluwatobi for full Adekunle. I've been doing marketing for quite a while. I think about 12 years now, 12 years plus now. And by the grace of God, I've done different types of marketing until I got to the good point. And for me, growth marketing has been fascinating. And it's fascinating for different reasons. So this is going to be like an interactive session. So I want you to use the chat box very well. I also want you to use the Q&A box very well. Any question, there's no stupid question. There's no right or wrong question. However you feel, even at some point, if you feel I'm saying nonsense, just put it in the chat. Say, if you don't miss here, yeah, I'm open to it. Let's have fun, right? Because marketing generally is about fun. So let me give you an instance. And to let you know, marketing is about fun, right? I told you it's been a roller coaster stuff, in my workplace where I work with one of the, saying that with all sense of humility, one of the biggest residential property management company in the UK, managing different portfolios in millions of pounds, right? And one of the interesting things that happened within my department is, okay, we changed leadership. I'm saying this as an example. We changed leadership, and within the marketing team. And it feels like the fun within marketing left. And you know what happened? That stifled creativity. Every other thing was affected. And that is because it has to do with the personality of the person leading the team. I'm saying this because I'm going somewhere, right? And it feels like everything changed. Oh, a team that used to be very creative are no longer creative. A team that used to be very fun are no longer having fun. It feels like, everybody's just working based on task, right? Rather than based on vision, rather than based on goal, rather than based on data, rather than based on, something more enduring. And, performance time was diving and we are where we are today. But thank God things are picking up. So, and that leads us to, who is this guy? Right? Marketing we know, product we know, but who is this guy? If you're a Christian, right? Sorry, I'm bringing this, and apologies to whoever is a Christian or atheist, apologies. In the Bible, there are some guys, I think they went to cast out demons. I think they call them the sons of Sephar. They went to cast out demon, and the demon in turn asked them question. He said, Peter, we know. Paul, we know. Who are you? And I'm bringing the same question to the growth to the growth element in marketing. Like we know marketing, we know product. Who is this guy? Who is growth? What is growth? Right? And for me, I've been passionate about growth for one specific reason. To say okay, let me just say this again. Growth marketing is not necessarily a function. You don't need to have a growth marketing title for you to practice growth marketing. You don't need someone to refer to you as a growth expert for you to be or to play in that space, right? Let's just establish that. So the question is, what exactly is growth marketing? Who is this guy? How did we come from marketing as per marketing? We went from marketing to digital marketing, which is one of the reasons today we have AdMap, because we felt, oh, let's establish an association that helps us manage the welfare of our members and all those theory stuff, right? So how do we move from marketing to digital marketing to performance marketing to demand generation to all forms and all types of marketing until we get to growth marketing? Now there's growth hacking, there's growth marketing. So what exactly is this guy? What is he all about? I will start with some examples by people who have done growth for quite a while and what they perceive it to be, right? So looking at this guy, the first guy here, head of product growth at Notion. He said growth teams respond to business performance, shifting resources as needed, right? It's all about responding to business performance. It's all about resource optimization. Another guy here, Cassie Winters, advisor product and growth for Bounce. It's a core product and marketing teams solve customer problems. Growth teams focus on acquiring, retaining, and monetizing customers. Everything you've known about marketing, I want you to pocket it in this session, and I just put it in your pocket. Like I said, we want to learn, unlearn, and relearn. If there's anything I'm saying that is not making sense, drop it in the chat. Let's both learn. So growth team focus on acquiring, retaining, and monetizing customers. The question you want to ask is, so what the hell have we been doing in marketing if it is not acquiring, retaining, and monetizing customers? And particularly for me, this is my interest in growth. So say we are doing marketing and we are not relevant within the business space, they are having meetings of director of revenue, director of operations, the CEO is calling people, but they are not really inviting marketing to the table because they feel, what are these guys bringing on board to generate leads, right? So I think that's where growth is coming in. VP product head of growth and monetization at Atlassian says, core teams build the main highway for customer value. Growth teams create on-ramps from alternative paths to the highway, to this highway, right? And I'll round up with Elena, this one of growth marketing influencers that I follow on LinkedIn. She's the head of growth at Dropbox. We all know Dropbox are the pioneer of, what we recognize today as growth hacking and all of those growth stuff, because it literally started from some of the things they did. So growth is the sales team for self-service revenue. For me, it says in product-led growth companies, growth teams own self-serve revenue target, acting as a sales team for these channels. So personally, I say growth marketing is the beautiful and modernized way to package sales, right? Because anything that is pointing you to revenue, anything that is pointing you to profitability has to do with sales. Sales has to happen, right? So let's get into the theoretical part before we then delve into some practical aspects of what we're going to talk about. So growth marketing. And this is one of the best description I've seen about growth marketing. I also say that with all sense of humility. Growth marketing is a data-driven marketing approach. If there's anything you should note, is that data-driven. Whatever type of marketing you are doing that you're not looking at data is not performance-focused and is not growth-focused. So it's a data-driven marketing approach that uses rapid experimentation to identify and develop strategies, primarily to drive business growth. So it is nothing new. And I'm saying that, confidently. Growth marketing is really nothing new. I won't tell you that I've discovered one amazing stuff, or one new innovation about one new idea about growth marketing. No, it's an improved method of marketing. Simply put, it's an improved method of marketing that combines conventional and unconventional methods to achieve business growth objectives. So your business is planning to grow, they want to scale, and you are looking for ways to drive this growth. Then you are looking for conventional, the regular setting up of PPC campaigns, doing search engine optimization, leveraging influencer relationship, doing partnerships, doing billboards, doing all of those beautiful stuff. The things we know. And the things we don't even think of, thinking outside of the box, outside of the regular things we know, right? Based on data, what are the other things we can do to help us scale and to help us grow? Simply, that's what growth marketing is all about. Just leveraging and combining conventional and unconventional approach to drive business growth. But like I said earlier, something is key in the description I mentioned, which is data-driven, right? Excuse me. Why data-driven marketing? Why is it important? Why is data important in marketing? Unlike before, where we are not really data focused. We are either sales driven, we are CEO driven, we are running by the ambitions of our CEO, right? But today, marketing is more of data than anything else. And it's data driven because it allows for precise targeting and personalization data helps us to identify what is working and what is not working. It also helps enable optimization of marketing spend. It is only when you are looking at data, you can say, what we are doing is not making sense. It is only when you are looking at data that you can say, we need to shift or change gear. It is only when you are looking at data, you can advise your business appropriately. So if you've not been doing that as a marketeer, I think now is time. And that's why I said growth marketing is not a function. You don't need a title. It's a mindset. You are going to get there. It's something you need to imbibe. If all you've been doing in marketing all your life is to work based on vibes and inshallah, I think now is the time for you to retrace your steps and look back. Otherwise, whatever you do, one, you lose the respect of people. If there's any quick way to get the respect within an organization or within a marketing team, is to speak and talk data. To say we've done this thing for the past 6 months, this is the result. This is what we are getting. And it will be foolishness for us to keep doing the same thing and expect to get a different result. Right? So what are the benefits of leveraging data? What are the simple benefits? You have great customer insight. It helps you to enhance your customer experience. And at the end of the day, you have an improved marketing ROI. These are simple reasons why leveraging data in marketing is important today. And this distinguishes you from all your peers or all your competitors within the market. Any organization or any team that is leveraging data for marketing campaigns and activities, you tend to perform better than your competitors. It's a simple logic. You can't work based on what you feel. If there's anything you want to take out of this session, it is what I'm saying currently. And going out of this place. You can't, and that is what Growth School is also about. Marketing and data is the hallmark of growth in any business. It's as simple as that. Whether you are using the data for descriptive analysis, prescriptive analysis, behavioral analytics, whatever it is you are using it for, is at the center of what you do. And whether your job title is a marketing manager, marketing director, digital market, whatever your title it is or is it whichever one, you need to start looking at data to make informed decisions within your campaign, within your marketing activities. A lot of the times we are quick to set up campaigns, we are quick to profile ideas, marketing ideas, without necessarily looking at numbers. Without necessarily, and there are different types of data. We have the primary data, we have the secondary data. Primary data in terms of our existing data based on the campaigns we run, we have an idea of what is working. Secondary data in terms of what is obtainable in the market, what you can read, other research reports that you can combine together to make an informed decision. What are the key growth marketing metrics? Let's look at the key growth marketing metrics. And we are going to be having an extensive conversation around these. So I deliberately did four. We have quite a number of lists of metrics we can look at, but I deliberately picked these four because whichever way you want to look at it, they're tied to revenue, they're tied to the top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, and bottom of the funnel. So first of all is conversion rate, which we talk about almost every other time within the digital marketing space. If there's any KPI that is very key to a digital marketing professional or digital marketing person, I think it's conversion rate, right? And conversion rate is the percentage of users who take a desired action, such as signing up on a newsletter, filling up a form, or making a buying or making a purchase, right? So how do you calculate that? The number of conversion, number of visitors, whatever it is, that is your goal times 100 divided by the rate. Conversion rate is a key indicator because it shows, especially for the top of the funnel, it shows how well your marketing activities are performing. Higher conversion rate indicates effective marketing, a better user experience. It helps identify areas for optimization, what you need to do better. So let me give you an example. So if you have 100 website visitors and 50, for instance, make a purchase, your conversion rate will be the 50 that make a purchase, 10 times 100, no, 50 divided by 1,000, then times 100. That will be your conversion rate, which will probably be 5%. So that's conversion rate as a key metric in growth. The next one is customer acquisition cost. And if there's anything that is important within the growth framework or within the growth marketing environment, I think this guy is one of the key. If you want to measure how effective any marketing team is performing, then this is what you should be looking at. How much are we spending to acquire a customer? And the next one after it is the customer lifetime value. But let's look at the customer acquisition cost first. And I knew this when I had a stint working within the fintech space, to say customer acquisition cost is very key. A lot of the time, sometimes, especially within digital marketing, if you are doing just digital marketing, we tend to focus more on the number of leads we're able to generate and the number of conversion from probably leads to customer without necessarily paying attention to how much does it cost us to bring in one customer. How much is it costing the business to service one customer? And on the long run, what is the value of that one customer over a particular period of time, which then leads us to the CLV? So customer acquisition cost, based on the name, is the total cost of acquiring new customer. It includes all marketing and sales expenses over a period of time. Often than not, within the maybe digital marketing space, it's a bit different within the growth environment. Growth environment, you have to look at every kobo you spend to your investment into marketing tools to calculate your customer acquisition cost. Everything you've spent, everything you've invested in bringing in a customer, including your marketing activities. Sometimes within a startup environment, which sometimes I really do not buy that idea, within a startup environment, you have to calculate the salary. I remember working within an e-commerce environment. It was a bit crazy. And it was crazy because when we are calculating customer acquisition cost, I remember the CEO then, I will use name to respect him, like Yoruba people will say, I will use name to cover his shame. It will put, maybe I think we're about 4 or 5 within marketing team. It will evaluate our salary, will calculate our salary and add it to the marketing cost to calculate customer acquisition cost, sometimes to calculate ROI. And I remember we argue a lot of times, say it doesn't make sense if we are calculating our salary. That could probably easily go into maybe the general business expense, because all the time our ROI is usually negative because our salary is included as part of the cost to say we are part of the resources. So sometimes you get to a point where business also look into what they are paying you as a practitioner or as a professional managing that space as part of the investment. And the reason sometimes they do that is, what if we're engaging an agency? Then we'll calculate the cost we are paying that agency as part of the marketing cost. So why can't we calculate your salary? So sometimes if you really want to go deep dive, you impute some of these costs, but sometimes also they are not necessary. So understanding your CAC helps you evaluate the efficiency of your marketing campaign and imbibe this mindset. If there's anything you want to take away this mindset. That when you are setting up your campaign as a marketing professional, performance, whichever space in marketing, even if it's not, interestingly, these were things I was doing, even while I wasn't necessarily doing growth marketing. I just took interest to say, I want to know how far we've gone with our efforts. So what numbers of customers do we have, right? What did we spend? How long has the customer been around? Then I calculate some of these things. Sometimes I make recommendations to business to say it doesn't make sense if we continue this way. So it helps evaluate the efficiency of a marketing campaign. A high CAC might indicate inefficiencies in your marketing strategy or high competition, or there's a tense competition within the space you play. Sometimes a high CAC might also mean that the service or the product you are trying to acquire customer for requires enough spend, but you recoup your investment from the CLV, right? To say you need to spend more, maybe organize events, set up campaigns, but the value that customer is bringing on board over a particular period of time is where you will cover the acquisition cost. So when you now spread your customer acquisition cost over a period of time, it then makes sense. But at a glance, you say 1 month, it won't make sense because it's actually high based on the type of product or service that you're selling. But when you break it down over a particular period of time, then it starts to make sense. So comparing CLC with CLV, I just said that now, it's also very important. So when you're also bringing in customer, don't after your campaign, don't just sit down that we've generated enough leads. Maybe I should have started with developing a growth mindset because I'm just going back, right? You start with generation of leads, but if you want to gain the respect of your leaders within the business, even if it's not your responsibility, ask them. Ask your sales guys, from these leads we've generated, how many are you able to close? What is the revenue coming from these guys? How many of these guys do we still have around? Once you start asking this question, you are tending towards growth and people will respect you more. It's a starting point for anyone. It's just a general starting point. So comparing your CAC with CLV is very important, to ensure that the cost of acquiring customers is justified by their long-term value. So when sometimes it looks like your CAC is not making sense, it is also very important for you to look at on the long run, in the next 6 months, in the next 1 year, in the next 9 months, what is the value this customer is bringing on board? And that is when you can justify your spend. Otherwise, you spend a lot in bringing one customer that is going to spend probably 2 months with your business, and at the end of the day, your sales is running negative. It doesn't make sense. Be looking into this data. Be looking into whatever space you are in marketing, except if you are a content, no disrespect to people doing content. Or if you are the top head of marketing, marketing manager, marketing lead, digital marketing manager, performance marketing manager, whichever space you are, maybe not directly for the guys in the SEO because they are part of the whole, but you manage a whole space, right? These are things you should look at. So let's cite an example. You spend, say, $10,000 or 10 million naira on marketing in a month, and you acquire 100 new customers. Can somebody tell me, what is your CAC? Let's do some quick mathematics. You spend $10,000 on marketing in a month, and you acquire 100 new customers. I won't make it complex, but I'm starting from here, but I just want to make it more interactive. I'll say it again. If you spend $10,000 on marketing in 1 month, and you acquire 100 new customers, what is your CAC? Without going to Google, without, asking your calculator, what is your CAC? You spend $10,000 on marketing, $10,000 on marketing in 1 month, and you acquire 100 new customers. What is your customer acquisition cost? Okay, I can see a chart. Glowview, Glowview is here. Glowview says $100. Correct. That's very right. Olumide is correct. So the next question is, Olumide, and I'll ask you, Olumide is the head of growth in one of the top fintech companies in Nigeria. So if 50 out of these new customers continue to spend a value of, say, $20 with you in the next 6 months, and the rest 50 churned in 3 months, what is your CLV? You can calculate that and drop that in the comment section later on because that requires some calculation. So among the 100, you have 50 spending an average of $50 with you every month for the next 6 months, and you have an average, the remaining 50 churned within 3 months. What is your customer lifetime value? Average customer lifetime value. Olumide, if you have chance, or if anyone wants to attempt that, you can just drop the response once you do that. All right, let's look at the customer lifetime value. The customer lifetime value is the total revenue expected from a customer over their entire relationship with the business. if there's anything you are looking at, please look at these things. And that's why I put out this four, right? If you want to sound sensible to business owners, especially if you are within a startup environment, talk some of these things I'm saying. Talk customer acquisition costs, talk retention rate, talk customer lifetime value, right? They are important metrics because they speak to the bottom line of every business. So if you are telling a business that if we acquire this number of customers and we are able to ensure that they spend this average amount over this particular period, this is where we are going to be in terms of revenue, it's going to make sense to them. Business leaders, business owners are not interested in whatever marketing you are setting up your PPC. They're not really interested in your click-through rate. I don't know if that makes sense. And that's where growth is different. They are not interested in your, some are not interested in your conversion rate. Some are interested, some are really not interested in your conversion, but most of them are interested in your customer acquisition cost. They are interested in your time to conversion rate. And when I mean conversion, actual conversion, not necessarily filling purchase, actual sale, not necessarily filling a form. They are interested in those ones, right? So CLV helps you to understand the long-term value a customer is bringing. It guides how much you can afford to spend on acquiring new customer. So let's say you are spending £100, oh, sorry, I'm using pounds, $100 on acquiring one customer. And the customer is spending over 6 months, the customer is spending an average of $19 on your business. You are losing $10 already. You are losing $10 because you're able to get 90 back. But again, if you do your calculation properly, you discover that the $90 the person is bringing back is not even your ad spend because there are other things that are involved. So it probably means you'll be running negative. So if you want to spend a particular amount in acquiring a customer, you should evaluate how much you are going to get in terms of value on the long run. Your CLV, if you work within a product-led organization, if you work within a growth marketing space, digital marketing, CLV is very, very important. Don't joke with it. Don't play with it. If nobody is looking at the number, if nobody is looking at it, if it looks like nobody cares, please show care and present to your organization. Show them. Somebody is dropping in the chat. Let me be sure it's related. Oh, Olumide came back. Thank you so much, Olumide. It means Olumide is going to be based on the analysis I dropped, is going to be making $22,500 in total after spending $10,000 in just 1 month. Thank you so much, Olumide. I really appreciate that response. An example for a CLV year, I think the example Olumide just shared makes sense. Maybe I shouldn't go into another example. Let's go into churn rates. Olumide, thank you so much. Churn rate is the percentage of customers who stop using your product or service during a specific time period. 6 months, 3 months, they use you once and they didn't come back, right? Churn rate is the opposite of retention rate. Retention rate is how long you are able to make a customer stay with you. My churn rate is the time it takes for them to just say, no, we are not using this platform again. So a high churn rate, I remember while we're working with Konga, we had a specialist. Excuse me. We had a specialist looking into churn rate and retention rate. That's his job. We go into meetings and it's showing all the numbers. If you are within an e-commerce environment, you can't but look into this. If you are interested, you are doing digital marketing within an e-commerce space, these are things you should be looking at without even anybody asking you. You should take interest in them. Reducing churn is often more cost effective. You can listen to, you can write this down, or you can screenshot what I'm saying. Reducing churn is often more cost effective, which is me saying retaining customers is more cost effective than acquiring new customers. If there's anything you should do as a growth marketing person, as a marketing person, is to ensure that your churn rate is at the barest minimum. You are achieving that because you need to spend more to get new customers in than you need to spend to retain customers. So one of the things I want us to look at, let's look at how these metrics interrelate, how they're interwoven, right? These metrics should be balanced ideally, which means your CLV should be significantly higher than your CAC if you want to ensure profitability. If that is not your reality, you need to go sit down, look at your data, look at your product. A lot of the time, businesses shy away from looking at the problem. Every problem is a marketing problem. Till today, I personally also face it. But because I have experience, I understand that the easiest place to push a blame is marketing. So when things are not working, people come back to say either your campaign is not effective, you are not creative enough, you are not strategic enough, you don't know what you are doing, you are not leading the team well. It always comes back to marketing. But what people don't look at, or what they ideally shy away from looking at, is the product. Are we necessarily solving a problem? Do we have a customer base? Are we different from what our competitors are doing? Do we really have a USP? Are we meeting the needs of our customers? These are questions business will not want to ask because everybody wants to launch a startup. Everybody wants to do a business. So a higher churn rate reduces average customer lifespan. So can you see how your churn rate also affects your CLV? If people are leaving your business, it means your CLV is poor, right? Conversion rate and CAC also. Improving conversion rate can lower CAC. And this is where, if you are within the digital marketing space, this is something you should focus on. You have a digital marketing team, you have a growth team. Your responsibility within the digital marketing environment should be to increase conversion rate at every point, because that feeds into your CAC. So as more visitors become paying customers without an additional marketing spend, it means your CAC will literally become lower. I don't know if I'm making sense. Guys, if I'm making sense, let me know in the chat box. But if I'm not, also let me know that you're speaking dragons. All right. The next thing here is, what does growth marketing look like? Am I on that screen? Yes. What does growth marketing? Okay, I knew it skipped. Sorry. I don't know why this laptop is skipping faster. What does growth marketing looks like? One thing I would love to tell you in this session, I hope I'm able to cover all of this slide. One of the things I don't do when I'm teaching, I really don't rush. So if I'm unable to complete this slide, to have the chat and talk about it. There's no one size fits all approach to growth marketing. There is no Dropbox Uber approach.
Hello, I think we might have lost. Okay, he's back.
Okay, I think I'm back.
Are you having NEPA issues on that side?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you perfectly.
Okay, I think I'm back. So I am in the conservatory, and the network in my conservatory is a bit not good. And that's because my screens are here. So if I move away from here, I lose the screens. So apologies. It won't happen again. All right. So there's no one size fits
I think we've lost your screen share as well.
all for growth strategy or growth.
I think we
Can you see it now? Should I share again?
I think your network is still a bit choppy.
Okay, let me probably connect to. Yeah, sorry, I want to connect to another network within where I am so that we don't have the issue of.
Okay, that's fine. Guys, let us give Toby a few minutes. He seems to be having a bit of technical issues, but I'm sure we'll resolve it shortly. He's logged off, so I'm sure he's gonna try to log in again. Wait, do bear with us. I'm trying to reach him on chat. I think he's still having technical issues on his end. You're on mute. Welcome back, Toby.
My sincerest apologies.
Have you been able to switch to another link? Is this one more stable? Doesn't look like it. Toby, are you sure you're not back in Alagbado?
Hey,
Because
wow.
this your network is looking like
Can you hear me?
Okay, that came a bit clearer. The audio was quite good, but your video is
Awesome.
still very choppy.
Wow. I don't know what's happening today, to be honest.
That network is giving
Okay, I think that's good.
well, not good, Toby. The network is still pretty bad. It's very, very choppy. Very, very it's not working at all.
I think
Are you sure it's not your computer maybe running out of memory and leading to some lag? Might not necessarily be the internet.
okay, let me use the audio. Is it okay?
Okay, that's much better.
Sincere apologies, everyone. I think we shall overcome. You know, the problem is not specific to any location. Anything can happen when it comes to these devices. Just that it's not electricity related. But, data, internet, and all. Still pretty much the same everywhere sometimes. All right. I was almost losing my steam, but let me just get on with it. So, like I said, there is no one quick fix strategy or growth strategy that is applicable to all business to say, oh, I'll pick this idea from Uber and I'll apply it to my business. It doesn't work like that in growth. And that's because growth is data centric. So it's unique to your business. Whatever initiative, whatever idea, whatever you feel is going to work has to be driven by data, has to be driven by insight. So you are not just doing copy and paste. You are doing because I remember doing an action learning MBA. You learn, or you do by learning. So you've run campaign, you know what is working, you know what you can test, you know what is not working, then you apply and you see what works, you see how you can go. So that is what growth marketing look like. Somebody says if a sales team's motto is always be closing, then a growth marketer's motto is always be testing. You can write that down. Always be testing. Whatever you do. I remember we were having a call with my team. I like to tell stories a lot so that the session is also not boring. I have a call with my colleague here. We have a small agency that we run. And we're talking to a client, and the client came back to us. And the client said he was going to spend, the budget was a bit high initially. When we developed all the plan presented, the client said, okay, you know what? I'll come back and spend $500. And we're a bit stunned to say, from where to where? How did we get $500? And I remember we argued, say, should we do it? Should we not do it? Should we do it? Should we not do it? And one of the things that came on top, and that's because the other colleague of mine is also a good person. And he said, okay, you know what, guys, let's do this as a test. Let's test it. Let's see what works. It will also help us to have insight into this industry. So for growth marketing, testing is the hallmark. You should not be afraid to test. If you are starting a campaign, have it at the back of your mind, that the first 2 weeks of your campaign is to test. So that whatever insight you are getting from that campaign, sometimes it might lead you to say, okay, PPC is not a problem. You stop it. Oh, SEO is not a problem. You stop it. Oh, conversion rate optimization is our problem. Our website is not converting. So it is when you run campaign, but a lot of the time, you know what we do? We set campaigns and we go to bed. We set campaigns for 1 month, and it is after 1 month we are coming back to check why the campaign did not work. Within the growth space, you check almost every other day or every other week to see what is working and what is not working. All right. Growth marketers ruthlessly experiment and try new things until they find something that sticks. That's another thing you can go away with. Growth marketers experiment ruthlessly, try new things until they find something that sticks. That is something I've done digital for quite a while. It's not something we do. We really don't do it. I've done digital. We just set up campaigns, we just let it run. But for growth marketers, they test a lot. You can have 5, 4, 3 different variations of the same campaign running just to find out what is working, just to find out what sticks. Right? That is growth for you. So I remember then also, we run November Black Friday campaign. If you've been in the e-commerce environment, or if you are not even in the e-commerce environment, we all know about the Black Friday. Check Konga and Jumia. The template is almost like the same. And I doubt if they have a growth team within that space. I doubt it. I'm not sure. Because if you actually have a growth team, whether it's working, but you can't be using the same template, data should have shown you that you can either scale or improve on whatever you are doing than running the same template just every other time, just because your competitor is almost doing similar things. So in growth marketing, you have the lever and the effrontery. It's one thing to want to test, it's another thing to have the effrontery and the lever to be able to do it and carry it out. So let's quickly look at this. We are going to be moving towards the end quickly. Sorry for those breaks in transmission. What are the core components of growth marketing? What are the core components? One of the core components of growth marketing strategy is A/B testing. I know it sounds like, oh, we know A/B testing. Yeah, you know it. But a lot of the time, people know it, but they don't do it, or they don't do it well. I remember within my company where I work, we had like an argument with our marketing director about a copy. To say, okay, if you put, oh, hurry now, is around hurry now or do it now, something like that. To say this will perform better, this will not perform better. And the conclusion was, okay, you know what, let's do A/B test. And we had like 6 different property portfolios to do this A/B test on. That was quite massive. And it didn't stop there because there was also a workflow automation to be set up, right? Because we are looking at behavioral targeting based on response. If they do this, if they take this action, follow up with this mail. So for each of the creatives we developed for like 4 different emails, there are different call to actions on the banner. And it had, for 4 different property portfolios and for 4 different types of email, just to see what's going to stick and what's not going to stick. At the end of the day, we found out that both emails were performing almost at the same pace. So it does not really matter whether we said hurry now, whether we said do it now, whatever we're using that we thought one would have more impact than the other. But if we didn't test, we wouldn't know. So when sometimes you have a doubt as to why something is not working, the next thing you should look at is, let me A/B test this. There's also a multivariate testing, which is quite different from A/B test, where you are testing multiple things. You are not just testing the color of the call to action. You are testing the call to action itself. You are testing the position of the call to action. Do all of these things. If you really want to this is how to get started with growth marketing. Things at your fingertips. Don't wait for the bigger ones where you are going to product engineering, you are doing some mad data analysis to drive business decision. Before you get to that level, these are simple things you can do just to get your business going on the right path. Cross-channel marketing is another component of growth marketing. Is the practice of using multiple marketing channels, your email, your social media, paid advertising to reach and drive growth. So I hear a lot of people sometimes argue, is growth marketing just about digital? No, it is not. Like I said earlier, maybe before you joined, it's about using conventional and unconventional approach to promote and to market your business, your product, your service, right? So it involves you leveraging different marketing touch points. Customer lifecycle. This is also very key. A lot of the time within marketing or within digital, we focus on the top and maybe bottom and middle of the funnel. Maybe if we try to stay at the middle, say we drive interest and consideration, then let sales go and do the rest, or let customer success, whatever unit that's the other part of the responsibility. So growth marketing relies on rigorous focus on the customer life cycle. So it means you are looking at the different stages a customer goes through from the first time they become aware of the business to the point where they become a loyal customer. By understanding the customer life cycle, you are able to create marketing campaigns that are tailored to the needs and interests of customers at each stage. I remember myself and Oti at some point in 2021, we were running some training for a particular bank in Nigeria. And we did like a practical, we had like a practical session with them where we had this funnel, but it wasn't growth funnel, it was just the interest, awareness, consideration, decision, post-purchase. And we created like a mock-up of what should be said at each level of the funnel, at each level of the customer lifecycle. What type of blog post should you be writing? What type of call to action should you have? What type of goal should you be aiming at? These are things we don't do. And you can also blame marketers generally, because sometimes we feel it is the responsibility of someone, or we feel our job has a scope. But if you want to go the growth route, these are things you should pay attention to. So if you are writing a blog post, you should ask yourself, if you're a content person, this blog post, is it creating an awareness? Is it encouraging interest? Am I trying to drive conversion? We don't do it. I got into my company, and I realized we could create an extensive blog post for different levels of the funnels and use it to drive conversion. And that saw us creating about 15 to 9 blog posts, 3 per each of the levels, just awareness, interest, and decision. We created 3 different blog posts. So if you're at awareness level, you probably find our blog post that talks about you trying to find the right, kind of apartment, or you trying to find the right kind of product or service to use. If you are the interest stage, possibilities that you come across our blog posts around that is very strategic, right? That is, we are thinking of using content to drive either decision making or to create an awareness. Content marketing fills all of the funnels or the customer lifecycle. So looking into what works at different stages is very, very key. So another important aspect of growth marketing is the use of customer feedback. Customer feedback is very, very important, because it is through customer feedback, when we talk about the tools, I think you also see it there. It is through customer feedback you understand this is what is working in our product, this is what is not working, this is what we can do better, this is what customers. I remember working with a company, I probably not want to mention name, in Nigeria, and I did like a customer retention analysis at some point. Nobody sent me. And that's why I said it starts with having a growth mindset. And what I wanted to understand was, we go out a lot of the time to pitch a particular service to people, to talk about the product. And I want to understand, what is our true value proposition? What are people's audience? What are our client interests in the business? And when I did that particular survey, we realized that what we thought was what people valued in our product wasn't actually what they valued. They saw value in something else, which we really do talk about. we don't focus on it. So it is when you get customer feedback that you have insight into some of these things. Then last but not the least is agility. To be successful in growth marketing, you need to be responsive and flexible. If you are within an enterprise organization, you might as well forget growth. Because before decision making is concluded, your competitor is ahead of you. I've also been in that environment. You are still deliberating and strategizing, but your competitors are way ahead of you. And I've also been in an environment where we just got an information in the afternoon that competitor is doing this, and we swung into action the following day, right? So that's how growth marketing works. You need to be agile. You need to be fast. You need to be nimble. You need to be flexible. Your engineering team needs to be sleek, not the one that will take 100 years. If they are doing that, you are not doing growth. Let's not lie to ourselves. It's a combination of stuff. There's product in growth. So there's no how you want to say you are doing effective growth marketing and you don't have a say in what goes on the growth end. You've provided feedback. Nobody's even looking at it. You can just stick to growth marketing. You can just stick to digital marketing. Still a profession also. All right, relevance to other business. I would not want to go into details here because of time, but you can just read what is on the screen. Data-driven decision-making, that is very good. Growth marketing is very important. You make decisions based on data. Rapid adaptation to market changes, where we talk about agility, but if you lack agility, forget about it. If you lack flexibility, forget about it. There is nothing good about the business. It thrives, growth marketing thrives in an environment where there is agility and flexibility. Efficient resource allocation. If you are looking for people, which is the general perception of business owners, people that will turn $1 to $100 or $1,000, they think it's the growth people, right? Because of efficient resource allocation. You know what is working. You know we shouldn't be spending. I'm currently part of a startup also, and we've been struggling to acquire customers. And one of the things we've also failed to do to say, okay, you know what? Let's see how we can drive this. We are not going to spend a dime, right? And we've been pushing for almost 2 months. It's been tough, to be honest, because the space we're also playing is a tough one, but we've not spent a dime. And to me, that's having a good mindset to say everything cannot be about running ads. Let's exhaust all of our options in terms of what we can do without necessarily running ads. Then to, okay, based on everything we've done and we are not getting traction, then let's move to this, right? So there's efficient resource allocation with growth. There's scalability, retention, and customer lifetime value. That's what growth will help you to do. That's how it's relevant. Innovation and experimentation, ability to come up with ideas that people will say you are stupid, this one will not work, this is crazy, that's growth, right? Measurable result and accountability, competitive advantage, and long-term sustainability. I have explanation for all of this, but I will not want to take your time. I know you guys are business decision makers within your organizations, you are experts, so they're probably waiting for you. Here's one of the most interesting parts. Growth marketing is about developing a growth mindset. You cannot rule if you don't have it. If you didn't day, you didn't day. If you don't have it, you don't have it. You need to cultivate it, right? And sometimes it's as a result of how we're built, how we started. So if you worked in an FMCG environment, technically, there's really nothing to worry about when it comes to, at the point I was working with the Ikeja Electric, I don't have a problem with growth marketing because whether you like it or not, whether you like it, all right, David, whether you like it or not, they will pay. The customers will pay, right? So building a growth marketing mindset involves you developing a particular way of thinking and approaching marketing activities, right? That is where it starts. How do I put this? It's not about campaigns. No. It's not about campaign optimization. No, that's not where it starts. It starts with you being interested in the business goal. It starts with you interested in the business objective. This is what the business wants to do. But you are in the marketing team. How can my responsibility help the business to achieve this? That's where having a growth mindset starts. So it trickles down into all your activities. You're an SEO manager, you're a content writer, you're a digital marketing manager. How are my activities, or how is my activity contributing to the goal of the business? I'm setting up a campaign to generate X number of leads. How can I ensure that I stay within the budget and still generate this amount? So once you start thinking like that, you are helping companies to manage their resource. Then you are beginning to have a good mindset. It starts with, there are some basic principles though that you should look at. One is continuous improvement. So you're always looking for ways to enhance and optimize marketing efforts. So instead of settling for the status quo, we've been doing the same thing over and over. You can suggest to your company, say this November 2024, let's not do Black Friday, and see the way they will react. Give them an idea, give them something else. And say, let's just go, for whatever idea you are giving them, remember, it has to be backed by data. That's one interesting thing about growth. You can't just say, in growth, you don't feel, you don't think. When you think with data, you think with stats, you think with insights. And that is how you can establish credibility in wherever organization you work. Sometimes you are not the custodian of the data because you are not a data analyst, though measurably a growth marketer should have some level of data analysis as a skill, right? But you can also leverage on other people's skills if you don't have the full skill to mine data, but you should speak with data, right? So some of this idea could involve refining your marketing strategy. Oh, we've been doing display for this. Let's stop it. Let's focus on SEO based on data, right? Or based on what you can perceive within your industry. Let's see if it's going to improve our activity. Just think of a way of improving what you are currently doing. That's what this is about. Experimentation is another principle which I've spoken about. Test, experiment, get feedback, do A/B tests, piloting new marketing channels, the ones you've not been doing before. Let's advertise on inside a train station, right? The Lagos State might not be thinking about it. I don't know if it's currently obtainable. You can suggest it. You can take it to them. If you believe your audience are there and you believe you get good traction, right? So it's just about thinking of new ways of doing things. Customer-centric thinking, is at the heart of good marketing. And that's where product comes in. The product we have, is it solving a problem, right? Are people finding value in it? What value are they finding in it? How can we improve it? How can we make it better? How can we ensure that we're actually solving people's needs? So you must put customers at the center of what you do. There are two, by precedent, please let me know when it's time to stop. I don't mind stopping the slides halfway. I don't believe in rushing slides, Let me know when it's time to stop. That's what I would say. I'm good with time management, but I don't just like rushing things off. If it's small, let's get it and let's go. If it's big, let's get it and let's go. If you can't get anything, we'll come back another day. Having a growth mindset is believing that you can cultivate and improve your skills and abilities through practice and effort. There's a group we had, the CXL group. I believe everybody in that group has a growth mindset. For you to invest that amount of money trying to learn something, you have a growth mindset. I don't know, I think some members are here, right? A fixed mindset is where you just feel something cannot be done or it's not possible. Oh no, we've been doing this thing. I've been in a place also working with some people where life was a bit difficult, right? So because they had knowledge before you came, you met them there, you try to propose a new idea and you get, no, it can't work. We've tried it 100 times, it did not work. Oh, it's a fixed mindset to a very large extent. Although, by the help of God, I was able to drive some level of change. But, it was because I was able to work on people's minds. Say, even if you feel it's not going to work, let's try it. Let's test it, right? A good mindset believes that you can improve your skills. You can, learn. You can show some resilience. You can persevere in the face of failure, right? You can embrace experimentation. You are always looking for ways to improve things. You're adaptable. You are open to change. You can adjust your strategies. You are not, oh, one size fits all. Once we've set it, it is on the 30th of June, we are coming back to look at it. You know, you have a collaboration skills. You can ideate. Ideation is actually a skill, ability to, you know, to come up with creative and new ideas. So having a fixed mindset, having a growth mindset is also very key. If you want to adapt the growth marketing methodologies, you need to have a growth mindset. President, I didn't hear from you, sir. Should we continue or just wrap up? Just give me time. My president, are you here? Okay. While the president is responding, so we also have the modern growth marketing skills, which we usually refer to as the T-shaped marketer. So marketing today as we have it, I was telling someone that gone are those days when they're advertising marketing, you know, marketing is advertised, marketing manager role is advertised differently from a digital marketing role. Digital marketing role, you see things like ability to do PPC, SEO, conversion rate optimization, can set up ads, can do this, you know. Today, you will see a marketing manager role and you will see all of the SEO, all of the PPC, all of the stuff. You will see it in the role as a requirement. Because marketing today requires knowledge in many fields, traditional, digital. And please don't discard traditional, right? Because you know, we usually think traditional is just once you are running TV ads, radio jingles, and all of those stuff. No, it goes beyond that. Yeah, leaflet drop is an effective form of marketing. So you also see context and location. You get to the UK or maybe some other part of Europe and you discover that they are still big on letters, physical paper letters, they are still big on leaflets, right? So you just need to find what works. So the T-shaped marketer is a brilliant model to follow for successful growth marketing. So it refers to a specialist with a broad knowledge of other types of marketing that is enough to create a successful growth marketing strategy. So today, if you are good with SEO, you are good with PPC, you are good with social media management, whatever it is, but your core skill is probably content, right? You can write content when you're sleeping. But you also know what's up with all that. You can set up ads. You can do some bit of SEO. You can write some SEO related content. You just need to know where you are within the T and where you are within the horizontal and the vertical line. So a T-shaped marketer is someone who has expertise in about 1 to 3 main marketing facets. For example, you may be a great content marketer. You have proven track record also of doing things with your content and organic strategies, but they are also savvy in other marketing facets. You can do email marketing, you can do PPC, you can build communities, you can do SEO, right? It's a lot. For some good marketer, their core is data. And for those people, they have an advantage because data is at the core of growth marketing. And I also see they have an advantage because in some team, there is a growth team and there is a marketing team. So for such people, data is a core skill that is required. Because on the marketing end, you have people to implement things for you, right? But if you are a one-man growth marketing manager, then all of these skills are very, very important. I'll move very fast since the president, this is still talking about a T-shaped marketer in terms of what type of skills do you need at the vertical and the horizontal level, right? So let's look at the common, framework we all talked about or we all know, right? So a growth marketing framework helps to set a clear path when you are developing your marketing and business strategy. And there's a common one we all know. I'm trying to move very fast now, which is the Pirate Matrix, the AA-RRR or AAA-RRR for some people. Awareness is included, but the original one design, there's no awareness. It's just acquisition, activation, retention, revenue, referral. Some also rearrange these, put revenue at the end, put retention in the middle, whichever way is still the AA-RRR. This is like the most popular growth marketing framework, which is called the Pirate Matrix, right? And it's popular for several reasons, because it covers all of the customer life cycle down to what is key to any business, which is revenue. And that's why business owners don't joke with people who understand this particular matrix in and out and can deliver an effective marketing strategy that actually speaks to different levels within the customer journey. We all know what acquisition is about. It's a process of attracting potential customers to your product. But at the acquisition level, you also have awareness. And that is one thing you should not overlook, even while you are doing growth. Before I used to believe there's something called vanity metrics. Now I feel there is nothing vanity about any metrics. It depends on what you are doing, it depends on where you are, and it depends on what you want to achieve. It is when you are reporting the wrong metrics to the right objective, that is when that metrics becomes vanity. So no vanity metrics on its own until it's adaptation in the wrong scope. So you are trying to report on conversion rate, but you are talking about the number of reach. Then at that point, when you are reporting that, you are reporting vanity metrics because it's not important to what you are supposed to be reporting. So key activities within the acquisition stage includes the marketing campaigns you set, your SEO activities, your social media activities, your paid ads, your content marketing, everything about marketing in terms of trying to get a customer is what happens here, right? But one of the mistakes sometimes we make as professionals is because we think we have all of these channels, then the next thing that comes to our head is, how can I use this to acquire customers? Instead of thinking, how can I find the right platform to reach my audience, right? Sometimes, like I said, we are currently with a startup here in the UK as a side stuff, started together. And one of the things we've been doing is, we've created like 3 to 4 different growth marketing strategies that we've put down, reviewed, because we are just we've identified our problems to a very large extent because these are also a group of professional marketeers, people who have experience in marketing also. We understand where the problem is. But I said that to say that we are not using all of these platforms at the same time to reach our audience. We are identifying what per time. So you want to set up a campaign. Instead of you saying, okay, social media is good for awareness, SEO is, no, you don't say that. You look at the people you are trying to reach, on your audience. I went to an event, I think PC's event in London, and one of the key things I took away from that event was when someone said, there's an audience, right? There's an audience and there's a customer, or there's a prospect. Or how do you put it? Like, your audience is the bigger, bucket. And sometimes your customers are not in the audience. But often than not, you have your customers in the audience. So you need to know who you are talking to. You need to know where they are. Sometimes you only need to be heavy on LinkedIn. And whatever you are doing on Instagram and the other places, just because you want to maintain touch point. Sometimes you just need to be very heavy on LinkedIn and Instagram and forget TikTok. The fact that everybody is there does not mean you should be there. You can only maintain a presence for presence sake, but when it comes to strategic output, you should be deliberate. For some people, they should be very heavy on public relations, especially if you have a product that has to do with perception management. Your PR should be very strong than focusing on posting on social media. I don't know if that makes sense. For some people, it's partnerships. All they need to scale is partnership. So you just need, I say all of those things to say that you need to know what works. Don't just say because you need acquisition, then you put all your effort, you are just bombarding everywhere with ads. You have your, okay, maybe because you also have investor money, you want to spend it. You have your banners everywhere, you have your billboards everywhere. Good. What are the key metrics at acquisition level? You have your website traffic, key metrics to measure, your website traffic, app downloads, your sign-ups or registration, and most importantly, your cost per acquisition. And I hope you know cost per acquisition is different from customer acquisition cost. So cost per acquisition is what you are spending to achieve your KPI, your marketing KPI. So we want X number of downloads. We want X number of signups. Whatever you spend to get those number of registration or sign up is your cost per acquisition. But customer acquisition cost is what you spend in totality to bring in one customer. Let's move to activation. Maybe I should just round it off at this point so that I allow people to enjoy the rest of the day. I think that's what I would do. The next other part, the strategies part, the customer acquisition strategies and all of the strategy and tools part, we'll probably treat it later. Maybe one of those days when I'm free, we can just have a quick call. But I think I should just round it up at this point so that I allow people to get back to work. Sorry, I teach, so I can also, talk sometimes. Activation, the stage where, users have their first successful experience with your product. You've had a lot of people. I think my last post was app download is not equal to growth or something. So the fact that people download your application, which is the joy of every digital marketing professional. We have 1 million downloads. We even celebrate it. But how many people are using it? Right? That's where activation comes in. So growth will not rejoice with you at that level to say we have 1 million. No. Any growth marketing professional will not rejoice with you at that point. They are rejoicing with you looking at your MRR, looking at your ARR, looking at your CAC. That's where they rejoice. Looking at the number of people using the app, looking at the revenue coming from the number of people using it. That's their joy. So activation, you are looking at your onboarding process and tutorials, right? You are looking at first-time user experience, which is very key for every business. That first time a customer is coming to your platform, whatever they perceive as the experience is what they go away with. And that will be the end of your business. Either they are coming back or they are not coming back. And one funny thing about app is it can be redundant for years. So people have your app and they are not using it, right? And you've done everything you could to bring them back and they are not coming back because of that one-time experience. Then again, how do we engage them? You've had some apps, notification, nothing, they are just there. You are not speaking to them, you are not engaging them, but you are just rejoicing. Hey, we have reached 2 million downloads. Who cares? Right? So what are the key metrics you need to look at this activation level? You need to look at the onboarding completion rate. How many people complete the onboarding process? What is the time to value? What is the time it takes to complete the onboarding process and to use the application, right? You're looking at your first purchase or action taking. You want them, maybe your own North Star metric is completion of profile information, right? So what time is it taking them to complete the process? Retention. One of the speaking engagement I had in London at some point was to talk about retention and referral. And I think it's one of the beautiful speaking sessions I've had, right? Because I think while I was creating that particular document myself, I realized that a lot of the time we labor so hard. We labor so hard to acquire customers, but we put in less effort in retaining customers. Because for some of us, or for some businesses, we believe they are there, there's no way they are going. Of which they have options. They have what they can do. They have where else they can go. So we exert much effort in bringing in new people while we pay less attention into retaining customer. Retaining customer is simply keeping your user engaged and encouraging them to continue to use your product over a period of time. So you are sending them regular updates, product improvement. If there's anything that gives a user a joy, right? And that's why I think that was what led Google to doing Google Analytics for GA4. I want to believe that's what led them to do it. Though that product feels like it was needless. Everyone was happy with the Universal app, the Google Universal Analytics. But I just felt they just want to do something new. They want to show more value. It's part of the retention process. So they came up with something. At the end of the day, maybe they didn't do enough research. I think a lot of people are not really, loving the experience. That's where your email and push notifications comes into place, your loyalty programs, your incentives, customer support and engagement. These are things you can do to improve your retention rate. But often than not, we neglect some of these things because, we take the customers for granted. Referral, which is more like it also, these are actions taken by satisfied customers to refer others to your product, expanding your user base. So referral is like a two-edged sword. You can use it to, I have a whole slide on referral also. Maybe you check out Growth School to find some interesting results. You can use referral to acquire customers, and you can use referrals also to drive retention. Then revenue, which is the monetization of every activities from top to bottom leads to revenue generation. I would like to stop here just to give people time back. I know we had some technical issues. I have about 5 slides or 4 slides to go, but I will not take that. I've spoken to them already, one way or the other. So let me not just, stress you guys. You guys are professionals. I don't know if you have questions. Over to you, my president.
Thank you so much, Toby. I will be shocked if people do not have questions. That was a lot. Thank you very, very much. That was a very, very quality delivery. I know we've gone over time, but I think we will have time to answer 1 or 2 questions. I see, if you have a question, I see there's one question here from Henry Bassi. Henry says, from what I could gather, growth marketing requires businesses with a massive budget that's ready to test out strategies to uncover what works. Small businesses can't do growth marketing at scale. It's a question and a comment at the same time.
Yeah, I think small businesses can actually do growth at scale. They might not have the budget, and that's why it's growth marketing. So first of all, it's not about budget. It's not about spend. It's just about finding what works through experimentation. SEO, content marketing, paid ads, partnerships, traditional marketing, guerrilla marketing. You just need to find what works. And you can only find what works when you test and experiment. Have you experimented enough? How far have you gone with SEO? How far have you gone with content marketing? HubSpot literally use content marketing to drive growth. I hope we know. Literally, they use content marketing to drive growth. Moz, I don't know if you know SEO Moz, they use content and search engine also to drive growth. So the likes of Dropbox, they use referral to drive growth. So sometimes we think, because we are in marketing, we think budget first, we think spend first. And I also gave an example of startup that we're currently running here. And for the first 3 months, we are not thinking of spend because we are looking for a way to drive growth without being hampered by, budget, right? So it's a mindset. First off, you need to take your mind away from, you need money to drive growth. No. Money, very important. Spend, very important. But you need to have exhausted your option, and data must have shown you that if you don't spend substantial amount in a particular marketing channel, on a particular marketing channel or strategy, then this thing will not work. And that's when you can boldly say that, oh, we need money to scale. I think that's what I would just say about it.
Thank you so much, Toby. Thank you
Thank you,
so
my president.
much. Guys, I think that's the only question. I can see from the comment that everybody is very, very happy with the quality of the delivery.
Thank you, boss.
Again, this training was built 100% for you guys. We're not taking in external guys. And since we started this session, quite a lot of non-members have started reaching out to be members, which is quite commendable. The idea is we want to try to do as much of this as possible so that we can continue to add value to the community. Again, we need you guys to give us recommendations, what you want to see, who you want to take courses and things like that. I'm sure you can see my screen, or is it Toby's screen you're still seeing? Just by way of a quick reminder, I'm going to quickly stop sharing. Toby, if you can stop sharing. temporarily.
Yeah, we can see your screen now.
Okay, fantastic. So these are the sessions we have planned that are loading. The very next session for us is going to be one that is very exciting. I mean, the two are more brand related, less technical digital marketing opportunities, and I am personally looking forward to them. Next week, rather than Friday, next week is going to be Thursday at 11 a.m. Chukwudi Eze is going to be taking us through brand building in the digital world, while my very good friend Muyiwa Leshinloye, the Director of Digital and Media for Publicis Siwa, Central West Africa, is also going to be taking us on digital appreciation for CMOs. The CMO there is aspirational, I know. Like I said at the beginning, the idea is to try to get digital guys into those positions that we ordinarily would have felt so digital guys cannot be there. So yes, thank you guys very, very much. We've really, really shot over the clock, but I mean, the session was really, really loaded. I'm going to end the webinar here. Thank you again, Toby. Thank you, everybody. Enjoy your weekend and see you next time.